Hello. Welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We are live today to talk about all the latest in Bachelor Nation. And you guys, it's Monday, and we have a lot of news, a lot of ground to cover. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring. I'm joined by the wonderful Hiba Berry. And for his very first live stream with us here on Shared News, we have the wonderful Zachary Reality joining us. Zachary, I know you're a diehard Bachelor fan from like way back. Just tell the people a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your love for Bachelor Nation, just so they can get to know you.
Yeah, my Bachelor Nation fandom runs deep. I have been watching since, I want to say, elementary school. Like, I started Jake Pavelka's season, so 12 or 13 years ago. I feel like I've probably missed maybe less than a handful of episodes since. So my Bachelor Nation fandom runs very deep, as well as all of my reality TV fandom. I'm very big on Housewives, Survivor, Kardashians. We keep up with it all around here.
I love it. You are a well of knowledge. I cannot wait to chat with you both today because we have some pretty interesting topics. So honestly, let's just dive right in. We have a lot to cover, and I'm dying to know both of your thoughts. First up, we could not talk about anything Bachelor today without acknowledging that Katie's very first Bachelorette promo has arrived. We have been waiting for this, you guys. We are excited. We do have some clips to react to because honestly, we can't just talk about it. We got to see it. So let's kick things off with this first moment where we got to see Katie in her Bachelorette shoes, doing her thing in the big leagues. Let's see if we've got that first clip ready so we can react and share our thoughts because, Hiba, we talked about this. That first promo didn't go over too well with the fans. Not everyone was loving.
Exactly. Everyone just cared about the freaking skirt. I mean, can we move past that, guys?
She's not wearing a skirt this time around, so hopefully that means we are in a better place. She had the full Bachelorette glam, you guys. I mean, gorgeous hair. She's in a ball gown. She's got roses. I'm pretty sure there were some rose petals. I mean, it really was a sight to behold. As we get these clips ready, Hiba, initial reactions. Did you love it? How did you feel?
I mean, it was pretty short and sweet, usually how the promos go. And again, she was just in a studio, like white backdrop, not on location or anything really, to give us some more kind of details about, where the season's going to take place, and didn't really show us, any of the other guys. But it was short, sweet, to the point, and she looked great. I mean, that ball gown dress was a huge upgrade from that skirt debacle, that whole confusion that happened. But yeah, very excited to finally start her season because we've been talking about it for so long. It's been milked for so long. So I'm really happy to finally, see it coming together very slowly but surely. Did you have any thoughts,
Yes.
Zachary?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know when we're going to play it because I do have a few thoughts of this. You might call it a gown. I know some people online have been calling it a prom dress. Let's see this. Let's see this little clip.
All right, yeah, let's take a look because I am dying to know your thoughts on the look. All right, here we go. The anticipation.
I know what I deserve. I'm 1 in a billion, baby. Don't you agree?
I'm not gonna sit here and let mean girls be mean girls.
Okay, so first things first, lots of throwback Katie clips, right? They're really hyping up her time on Matt James this season. She does have that Bachelorette glam going on. Zachary, I know you had, people are calling it a prom dress, some people are loving it. What do you think? What's your reaction to these initial moments as her in like full Bachelorette glam?
I think she upgraded from last season. They do this every year. They call it like the Bachelorette glow. A lot of times the ladies will go from like a 9 to a 10. So I definitely think Katie looks flawless. I know that they don't really want to tease too much of her season yet, so they're not showing us any clips. So they really only have Matt James's clips and, audio to kind of work with. But as far as the prom dress, aka her ball gown, it's just not, I guess I just expected a little bit more. Is that fair?
I mean, listen, it's, yeah, Matt, it seems to be, Hiba, we've talked about this. Funny enough, it was you and I. It seems to be an ongoing conversation. People are not loving what they are styling her in. And she was such a powerhouse in Matt's season. I feel like, I hope we can get our groove by the time the show's on and there can be more. I mean, what do you think? How did this dress sit with you?
I feel like they're probably gonna wipe away the whole styling crew after this season, or because, people have been complaining so much just about what she's wearing. They're not even talking about her season itself. But you know what? I like how in the promo they kind of just show like the juxtaposition. Because right here in this shot, she's like the sweet, innocent kind of looking girl, but then cut to those Matt James clips, like she is telling someone off. So I love that they're kind of like showing this, personality that she has, both this fiery girl and then yet this sweet girl that's just really trying to look for love like anyone else in the world. And it just really kind of shows us and reminds us that Katie is just like a girlfriend that we have, or some close friend that we just know, who is willing to stand up for herself and knows what she wants, has standards, and is just wanting to look for love, just again like anyone. So I like how they shot this kind of, again, that juxtaposition of her two personalities. And again, it just seems like the budget for this promo was just very low because, again, just a white backdrop, nothing super crazy. It was all just editing and post, with that ring, showing those shots of her Matt James clips. But again, I think it's just nice enough, it teases us just enough to still want to tune in. And I'm excited regardless, what she wears, skirt, ball gown, whatever. But I'm just excited for her season overall.
Yeah, she's coming in hot.
Yes, she's coming in hot. And here's the thing. I think she honestly, she has so much pressure, right? To be the Katie that we saw on Matt's season, to be this unique voice. I mean, that's a lot to have on her shoulders, and there's no way they're going to convey that through these initial promos. We do have another clip. I want to keep talking about it. Let's roll this second clip, because they're giving us, breadcrumbs, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wrap around my finger like a ring.
I never want to stop pursuing love.
So that's an interesting little moment. The I never want to stop pursuing love, right? They're really trying to drive home, she walked away from Matt James this season heartbroken, and she hasn't given up, and she's committed, which I do think she is. I feel like she is ready for this journey, and that's something that they're showing us again here through this promo, as cheesy as it may be. I mean, she's swinging on a swing with rose petals. It's very classic Bachelor. What are your thoughts? We haven't talked about this with you, Zachary. Is she ready? Do you feel like she's a good fit for the Bachelorette?
I think she's ready. I don't think she would want to take on this role if she wasn't. Like you just mentioned, there is a lot of pressure being the Bachelorette. I think she is going to get a lot of flack regardless of what she's doing or what she's wearing. So I think she's coming in hot. I really like the Selena Gomez soundtrack. It just kind of makes her more of a boss. She's coming in with some confidence, some swag. She's definitely unapologetically herself. And, she wasn't my favorite on Matt James's season. But the more we see of her, I'm really open to just embracing her as our Bachelorette. And I think she's in it for the right reasons. And I will definitely be rooting for her throughout her journey.
Yeah, for sure. And I love how she's kind of also been a fan favorite at the same time, kind of that underdog during Matt James's season. And we've been discussing that we've been wanting to see this redemption story of Katie and Michelle and hopefully Brie on Bachelor in Paradise, but we'll see about that. But we've been, again, just waiting for Katie to finally be the lead and to find her love and to follow her storyline, versus her storyline with Matt James, which really was just a dead end and nothing was really going on anyways. But I think fans are just going to have a fun time watching her because, again, she's so relatable. She's just like any other woman in her 30s wanting to find love. And she's kind of this no BS girl. She was the vibrator girl day one. So, again, she has so many sides of her. She has so much personality. And I feel like she can just easily be like my home girl. I could call her up. We can be friends. And she just has that relatability factor, which I love so much. And I'm just so excited to explore that more with her when her season starts.
Yeah, she definitely is relatable. I mean, that is like the word, right? It's all over Twitter when you search her name. Everyone talks about how relatable she is, how much they like her, especially when she was handling the drama and she looked like literally the only one in that house with her head like screwed on, right? She constantly was pointing out like, this isn't fair. This doesn't make sense. And that's why we did love her. So I think we're going to see more of that personality that we've come to love, but she's going to be, I mean, maybe it's cheesy to say it this way, but right, our main character this time around. And you said it, Hiba. I didn't see that connection with Matt James, really. I liked her. I wanted her to stay, but I don't think we've really seen Katie, like, flourish with a guy that is gonna be the one. So very, very high hopes. We have one more clip. Let's check this out. I think we're gonna have fun with Katie's journey, hopefully. Let's see what this last one has.
I am who I am, and I want to meet someone who knows who they are. My person's still out there.
So we haven't talked about this yet. She's confident. I mean, via Katie, that are we wearing these shirts all season long? That's a confident statement, Hiba.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that Be a Katie part of the shirt. Again, a little cheesy. I do have to agree with you, Fiona, with like the rose petals and her on the swing and her, flicking that rose petal off the flower. Very cheesy, but then again, that's very Bachelorette. So I'm not surprised that they decided to go this route. Again, very low budget, it seems like, but again, they just teased the right amount just for us to still be, excited and to still cling on to watching this season, because again, we've discussed so many times over and over again, there's a huge rebranding going on in this franchise too. So they really want the audience to stick around, especially with the controversy as well being tied into it. So I think because this season is rolling out right after Matt James' season, they're really trying to pull out all the stops and still keep everyone tuned in. So as far as ratings, I don't know how low it might dip or even if it might increase, but I still think that there is an attraction to Katie as the lead because again, she has so much personality, and I keep saying that because it's so true and it's so refreshing to finally see a lead that has so many different sides of her and will stick up for herself. I think that's so refreshing. So I think this hopefully will be a successful season, and again, we're just gonna have to stay tuned to see, what happens, what other outfits she's gonna wear. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm very excited.
Be a Katie. Oh my god. Yeah, I really haven't heard much of this phrase until like the past couple of days since the trailer came out. I don't know how I feel about Be a Katie. Like I'm kind of like here for it, and then I'm kind of like really. But at the same time, like I love corniness and the cheesiness of Bachelor Nation. I like how they kind of dip into what each Bachelorette brings, like what makes them unique. And Katie is giving us a lot to work with. And I am already thinking, and Hiba, as you were talking, I was like already thinking of like the night one guys, like what they're going to bring to night one. Because we did know Katie went into Matt James' season with a dildo. I'm like, what sex toys are the guys going to bring when they see Katie to kind of one up that and match that? So I think it's going to be a hilarious season. Like, part of Katie like takes herself very seriously, and the other part of her like does not take herself seriously at all. So she has a lot of layers to her personality, which I do believe she will make a great Bachelorette because of that. And especially with Kaitlyn Bristowe and Tayshia Adams in her corner, she's going to have women supporting her, and she's in great hands. So I think she is fully prepared to take on this season.
Oh my gosh. Yes to everything. But that is such a great point about those limo entrances. Who the heck knows? I hope we see guys like deleting their Tinder profiles or, something. I guess they can't have their phones, but my God, you're so right. They're going to have to get so creative. She set the bar really high, and she has set it high across the board. So definitely, I'm with you both. I'm totally looking forward to her season, have been for a while now. But you guys, we want to know, anyone tuning in live with us, first of all, thank you. Hello, welcome. And are you guys excited for Katie? She's got a big personality, she's got a lot of fans, but she's not everyone's cup of tea. So we want to know, anyone tuning in right now, are you counting down the days to her season, or are you more excited about Michelle? Who's up next? Let us know in the chat. And of course, you guys, if you are joining us for the very first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell, because we will keep you updated on all things Bachelor Nation all the time. You don't want to miss a video. With that being said, I do have a little bit more news for you on Katie's season. It's going to be here, if you caught that date during the promo, sooner than you may think. It premieres June 7th. Time flies, especially right now in these crazy times we are living in. We are going to blink, you guys, I swear, and June 7th is going to be here. So mark your calendars if you haven't already. And the last bit I have for you is that production has wrapped. So Hiba, Zachary, that means she is either sitting somewhere with a giant kneeling engagement ring, hiding out from the world, till it's all over, or she didn't find her person. I mean, it is really real now. What do we think? Hiba, gut feeling, the earliest of early predictions. Is she engaged right now, or is she licking her wounds?
That's such a tough question and such a loaded question, because again, we have so many exactly. We have so many expectations and we want it to work. We always want it to work. And I think because we've been so scarred by how Matt James's season kind of unfolded, we have our doubts with Katie now, and I don't want to feel that way. I really don't. But I personally think that she is going to get engaged, because even though we still don't really know what kind of men we're working with as far as personality and how well they mesh together, I just have faith. Like, I just really want it to work out this time and have just a clean season like Tayshia and Zach's season. And I just really want her to be happy, because she's so relatable. I really cannot stop saying that word, but she just seems like so many people I know that are, older in their 30s and still really haven't found the one. And I think she can just relate to so many women across our country that are in that similar position. So I feel like if she wins, we all kind of win in a way. So I'm just putting that faith on her. Again, no pressure, like you mentioned, Fiona, because she does have a lot of pressure to have that successful season after Matt James's disastrous season. So I personally think she's going to be engaged and she's going to find the right person. I'm putting it out in the universe. I want this to work. And I do think she has a Neil Lane on her finger. And I think she's going to obviously, have those challenges as a lead, having to maybe send home guys where it might not feel right, but she does have feelings for them. I do think she's going to say, I love you, maybe mid-season for maybe like a front runner that we might have our eye on. So I'm kind of putting that out in the universe, because I want it to be true, because I'm just rooting for this girl. She's my girl. So hopefully she can make it happen. What do you think, Zachary?
Well, I do feel like the Bachelorettes have a better track record than the Bachelors. So
True.
I think we can at least trust that she has that going for her to begin with. If she's going to get engaged, if she's not going to get engaged, I hope she gets engaged. I think we always go into a love show hoping to find love at the end. If she does get engaged, I don't want to know. I feel like I have been spoiled so many times, especially over the past couple of years with social media only growing. So I truly want to go into this season not knowing anything, to be spoiler free if that is possible. We know the internet does wonders and there's lots of digging. So I hope that she gets engaged. I'm definitely rooting for her. I'm excited to see the hot guys that are going to be entering our TV screen. That's always exciting for the Bachelorette. And if she is engaged, like I mentioned, I don't want to know. I want to be surprised.
I know. Okay, I'm totally with you. As Matt James, any season of The Bachelor I have watched, I have been like blinders on. I want to react in real time. I want to go on the journey. I just think that's like the only way to consume a show like this. But there are so many people out there who live for the spoilers. They like to know what's coming, look for clues along the way, kind of dissect the producing, where the producers maybe played a role. And I totally get it, because that's like a new detective mission every season. So it's just kind of like, which side of Bachelor Nation are you on? I'm kind of with you, Zachary. I think that Matt's season, that killed me, because it was just, you had to go all in with the spoilers, right? There's just no avoiding it. But I'm hopeful for this season as well. Hibba, what about you? I mean, no right or wrong here. Are you a spoilers girl? Do you like keep refreshing reality Steve, or do you try to avoid it until, you know, it's unavoidable?
I try to avoid them too, and it's so hard because with news, you know, you always see those articles popping up on Twitter and like what's trending. So that's very difficult to avoid, especially like you mentioned, Zachary, with social media. It just keeps growing more and more and more. And especially because Bachelor Nation, like majority of you guys are FBI agents. So that's also another thing we have to deal with. So it's just so hard because, again, whenever I watch a season, Bachelor or Bachelorette, I try to put myself in the lead's shoes and, you know, just kind of feel out their personality, see who they mesh with and who maybe they don't, and kind of just like play them out. Like it's kind of like a video game. Like I just try to play them out, you know, as the main character and like see who they'll eliminate and send home and things like that. So I think it's just more enjoyable when you do follow the show and the show only, because things that are released or leaked, they happen in real time. So those people have already lived through the season, which we're still watching as fans, you know, as Bachelor Nation fans.
Yeah.
So I think there's always that mix up with the timeline and the time frame and the scheme of things. So that always, you know, gets spoiled, unfortunately. So again, that's why I'm hoping for a clean season with Katie. And I feel like also because we might be predicting that Katie will be engaged, I feel like people are going to be watching her social medias like a hawk just to see if there's, you know, a glimpse of a ring or anything. We did see with Tayshia, she accidentally, you know, posted her ring or her engagement finger while holding up some iced coffee. I mean, come on, girl, like you got to be better than that. So hopefully Katie learned from that and, you know, plays it safe, you know, just, you know, puts that ring away somewhere in a safe or something. But I know people are watching her socials and again, like any appearance or outing she may be on and with what guy, if any. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's been spoilers in the past, even from the Bachelorettes. You know, just a few years ago, Kaitlyn Bristowe accidentally spoiled her season. She leaked a Snapchat of her and Sean. So I really hope, and you just said that Tayshia almost spoiled her season too. So maybe she's not in the right hands. I mean, she's with these two leads who accidentally spoiled their season, but like, we gotta hope that there is no spoilers. But like you guys just mentioned, like I've said, it's really hard to avoid it. I mean, the fact that we just mentioned that the show wrapped like very recently, like today or like a couple days ago, I'm like surprised I'm not already spoiled in one sense, because the spoilers really do go out there so quickly. You know what I mean?
No, it does. And it's like a snowball effect. That's the thing, is like once we get one little piece, Hibba, you said it, half of Bachelor Nation has got to be working for the FBI. I swear to God, because once you have the teeny tiniest clue, it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And suddenly it's like, we know the final four. We know everything. We know where this is going. So you're either all in or you're putting your blinders on. It's a team effort. You guys tuning in with us live. First of all, it's a hard question, but I'm just curious. Well, I want to get like a crowdsource of the gut feeling. Is our gut feeling that Katie's walking away from this engaged? Or as a team, are we worried? Are we nervous? Let me know in the chat. Do you think she's going to end up engaged at the end of her season? And are you tuning into spoilers? If so, don't send those our way. We're trying our best, you guys. We're trying to keep pure, clear minds. Okay, so the other question I have for the two of you would be, this means we're kind of going back to the broader conversation here happening in Bachelor Nation, lots of changes. The season being wrapped does mean that, as you mentioned, Kaitlyn Bristowe, Tayshia Adams, her guides, their time in the hosting position, in theory, is wrapped. We still don't know what comes next. If Chris is coming back, are they going to pull in some other fan faves to host Michelle's season? Maybe they're bringing back, I mean, look at them killing this TikToker team. Maybe they're going to bring back this dynamic duo because of their incredible dance skills, their incredible hosting skills. What do you guys think happens next? Zachary, I got to know, is Chris coming back? Is an announcement on its way? Are they going to keep trying this, bringing familiar faces back and having sort of a more Bachelor to Bachelor, Bachelorette to Bachelorette vibe going on? What do you think? Any early predictions?
Well, first of all, I love these matching jumpsuits that Tayshia and Kaitlyn have going on. Yes, slay. I will definitely saw that TikTok. I think that depending on how the public reacts to Kaitlyn and Tayshia hosting in this kind of new format, which the show really won't know until the show airs, I think it's very likely that Kaitlyn and Tayshia will do the same thing for Michelle's season later in the year. I know that a lot of Bachelor Nation alumni have spoke out about maybe not wanting to go to Bachelor in Paradise if Chris is the host. A lot of them are rightfully so disappointed in him and how he handled, that past interview. So I don't necessarily see Chris Harrison coming back anytime soon. I think the earliest he can come back realistically is for The Bachelor, which does air in January 2022, which would when the next season of The Bachelor would air. So I think that's the earliest we could see Chris Harrison come back. But I don't know if you guys have heard all about this, but there is a possible lawsuit going on with Chris Harrison and The Bachelor as well. It's definitely stayed out of the press. We really do not know much about it. So depending on how messy that is behind the scenes, that will depict if Chris Harrison will ever make a return or if he is just going to be gone from the franchise forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. And it's just so hard because, again, it really depends on how Kaitlyn and Tayshia translate to the viewers, if they do a good job, if they offer good advice, especially because they have been in their own past seasons. So it's really going to depend on the public and how we react, how Twitter reacts, how Instagram reacts. And that will really weigh whether or not they'll even be in talks to being brought back. And also it's up to them if they're even interested, because I know these, two women maybe want to, go off and focus on the relationships and maybe step away from Bachelor Nation, that brand. So you never really know what their kind of direction is as far as career-wise, if they want to stay within the franchise that really kind of, blew them up and made them find love. So there's kind of a pull and push in this situation. So we just have to really wait until the public reacts and then see really what the feedback is in order for them to continue into this franchise. And as far as Bachelor and Nation, we still don't really know who's going to host that season as well. So that's a whole other question mark and thing we need to dissect as well, is, who's going to take Chris's spot. Are they going to get, previous male bachelors, maybe to change it up? Who knows? But it does seem like Chris might return, even if that, for the next Bachelor season, which again is, still a long ways from now, because we still got, 3 seasons of content to get through. So maybe people will forget about Chris Harrison by then. So you really don't know. It's so, because all these things, they move so fast. The news cycle is so fast. It comes and it goes. So we'll just have to see if Chris Harrison is still relevant then to even, be brought back to the franchise.
It's messy.
It's
I mean, here's
crazy.
the thing. There's so many threads. I remember when the news broke, you were so right. It has been out of the media, but when the news broke that Chris had hired a lawyer, there was some, alluding to, we don't know what going on behind the scenes. Then, of course, you have the people. I think they're a small but loud crew, let's just say, who are not even interested in Katie's season, right? Because Chris isn't going to be there. I've said it before. I don't know how controversial of a statement this is. I don't think he did that much, right? I just feel like if you're a diehard fan of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, you're not tuning in, if you're really sitting down and being honest with yourself, for his one-liners or for his questions with the lead. I'm not saying he did nothing, right? He's hosting. That is a role, 100%. And it needed to be filled. But I just really do think that depending on how, you guys said it, the fans react, if we can bring some new life into the show, a different energy from that hosting, whether it's a more peer-to-peer conversation, if that adds a new layer, but by 3 seasons from now, I could definitely see people kind of moving on. And I know that's, maybe not going to be the case. We really don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. But it's messy. I think it's going to be an ongoing conversation. I don't think it ends here. I think we're going to have a lot of tidbits, a lot of tea to unpack as the seasons unfold. There's a lot to just to pay attention to, as always, in Bachelor Nation. You guys, we're just making predictions at this point. So we, of course, want to know yours. I mean, do you think we're going to see Kaitlyn and Tayshia again? Do you hope that we bring out any other leads from the past that you absolutely love to give it a whirl in this role? Let us know what your best case scenario is moving forward, because we're really curious what everyone's opinion is. Let's talk about, you guys, our girl Kaitlyn, because she actually opened up kind of recently about feeling anxious. She's on the set, she's doing a new job, she's away from her dog, she's away from her friends. There's a global pandemic going on. I mean, there's a lot, right? And she was pretty candid with her followers about missing home, struggling with anxiety. and production has wrapped. She shared the whole saga of traveling home, and there's just this adorable, really feel-good moment of when she reunited with her pups that she shared with her fans on social media. I believe we have a clip. I love a good puppy moment, honestly, you guys. I'm just a sucker for it.
Me
So
too.
let's take a look at this sweet reunion. She has the cutest
She can
dogs.
lead you to love. She can take you on.
So cute.
I mean, I get it. I would miss those pups too. I really would. They're so, so sweet. Okay, let's move on from Katie's season, from Kaitlyn, Tayshia, because believe it or not, there's a lot more to talk about in Bachelor Nation right this minute. We have another update for you all on what literally can only be described as the roller coaster ride that is Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell's relationship. They are keeping us on their toes, our toes, their toes. Everyone's on the edge of their seat, honestly. They've been spotted together now in Newport Beach, and this Saturday they were spotted in Los Angeles, out at a bar in Santa Monica. As you can see from this image, Matt was clearly trying to be incognito, sunglasses on, hood up, even a baseball cap looks like it's hiding under there. But hello, it's clearly them. Obviously, I think the simplest way to put it is everybody just wants to know what the heck is going on. Some sources have come forward. You know, we love our sources. They've given us an update. As always, I think it goes without saying, you got to take things with a grain of salt because I don't know if anybody really knows unless they know. But hopefully this source is very knowledgeable. They told E! News, quote, Rachael and Matt have been spending the last week in Orange County together. They've been staying at a friend's house, trying to be low-key. The source elaborated that Matt felt horrible about what went down with him and Rachael recently and wanted to see her, so he initiated the visit. That's, I think, a key detail here. He called up Rachael, invited her to Newport Beach. They're there, staying together for a week. Huge turn of events, all things considered. The insider said that Rachael was very skeptical, but she ultimately chose to go because, quote, she cares about Matt and wanted to hear what he had to say. Here's the big ticket item, you guys. The source says, quote, they aren't back together, but definitely still have feelings. They're having a good time right now, and everything feels back to normal between them. I don't even know what to say. I'm just sending it over to you guys because this has been such a journey, and I don't think I saw this one coming. Maybe I did. It's just been so much. I mean, Hibbo, what do you make of this?
I really don't know where to begin. So, to play devil's advocate, I will say that for them to, break it off and then be back on, break it off, be back on, be seen together and then apart, be seen together and apart, it just really shows you that they genuinely were in love and it wasn't something that could have been cut off easily. It just shows you how deeply they had feelings for each other, even though we might not have seen it on his season, which I really didn't. I didn't see the chemistry whatsoever. But again, it just seemed like they still had that deep connection, that deep love, hence why they keep going back to each other. So I do understand that part, but as far as how realistic it is, if this relationship can even be salvaged, I don't know. Again, I'm not in the relationship, so I don't know. And again, we always say with sources, we have to take it with a grain of salt. But again, it does just go to show us that these two were in love. They genuinely were in love. And if it was kind of like, this not deep love, for lack of a better word, we wouldn't, see the light of them, together ever again. So they are still going back to each other, which again, I guess you can take as a point that they genuinely were in love, but I just don't think it's written in the cards for them because, again, I've said it, I'll say it again, it wasn't like Rachael had a secret boyfriend, that we didn't know about. It was an issue where a relationship ended over racism, and that's not something that you can sweep under the rug. So this was a deep-rooted issue where, a lot of relationships kind of fall short of. And so yeah, Fiona, like you said, I don't really know what much there else is to say. Kind of like a Dale and Claire situation where we kind of just keep seeing them, pop up at locations, over America. And we just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, these source reportings, but then try to see what's going on in the photos, if they're holding hands or if there's any type of emotional connection. So I think they're kind of falling into the Claire and Dale path of, you know, us seeing them together here and there, but whether or not they're going to reconcile like Claire and Dale did, we don't know. So it's just a roller coaster. Let's just leave it at that. What do you think,
Yeah.
Zachary?
I mean, I kind of feel bad for them in a way because I feel like they can't do anything without getting spotted or without people talking about them. I don't necessarily think that they are gonna get back together, but I think that there's still something there that they need to explore and figure out, or maybe they're just having a good time. Who knows what it is? But it kind of sucks that everywhere they go, they have to, you know, be paparazzi. People are taking pictures of them because they don't even know what their relationship is, let alone us Bachelor fans trying to figure it out. So I personally don't think they will make it at all. I do not see that for them. So I don't know what they're doing, but if they're just hanging out, or maybe they just need, you know, some closure or just to see what things are like now that the cameras are down, then I'm all for them, you know, figuring it out and doing that. But at the end of the day, I think we know, and I think they know, it's not going to work in the end. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't spend time together either.
Yeah, here's what stands out to me about these two at this point. Obviously, the way Matt's season unfolded was, you know, we've never seen anything like that before, right? I mean, truly, it was such a wild turn of events, one thing after another. The rumors picked up more steam and more steam. They became more real. We learned more. I mean, by the end of it, we were having, after the final rose, hosted by Emmanuel Acho, very, very serious reckoning for the franchise, very serious conversations to be had. I mean, we pulled a 180, right? All because at the end of the day of Matt and Rachael. And here we are. Clearly, I mean, Heba, you didn't see their connection. I didn't always see it, but I did feel it by the end there, right? I believe that they definitely had a spark, and I can't imagine what it must have been like behind the scenes to go from reality television to hiding your relationship while trying to figure out if there actually is a relationship, while facing some of the craziest rumors, trying to respond. I mean, oh my God, the roller coaster that they've privately, you know, probably been on. I don't envy it. I can't imagine it. But here's the thing. They've made so much of it. Well, they haven't. It just is public, right? They took that stage. They said what they said. They made some pretty clear declarations of where things were going from here. She had a journey she needed to go on. Matt wasn't going to be on that journey with her, right? He followed up and doubled down in interviews following after the final rose, right? Like, we have just heard from them certain declarations of where they are, what's to come. So naturally, when we're going to see them popping up together, like you said, scattered across the U.S., Heba, it's hard as fans to not wonder, okay, well, now we're not a part of this story. And you told us, Matt, you told us she had a journey she needed to go on. Like, where are we? It feels like it's like a catch-22 for them, right? Because the more they make public, this is never going to work. They have got to heal. They have got to find some closure. The connection, the spark they have, it's clearly kept them going to a certain degree until now. But it's unsurvivable to have things constantly be that publicly scrutinized. But at the same time, not too long ago, the headlines were they're not speaking. They're not on speaking terms, right? Like, we were unpacking a whole other version of this. What was it, just last week? So it's very hard to figure out what to even root for here, right? Because if two people have forgiven each other, found new common ground, and they want to try to make it work, that is your life, right? Live it. Go for it. Do your thing. Go on your journey. But they're never going to escape this shadow, I think, of questions, of judgment, of people with opinions as to what he should do, people with opinions of what she needs to do, you know, what's fair, what's unfair. It's been a very dividing issue, and I just don't see these conversations ending. You know, I definitely agree with that Claire and Dale parallel, but personally, I'm just kind of like, ugh, enough. I can't keep up with Claire and Dale anymore. Whatever they want to do. If they want to Instagram each other's dinners, fine. But I'm still invested in this to a degree. Is that just me? Are you still invested in this, Zachary? I mean, I feel like we're not over it yet as a fan base.
I'm over it. I am definitely.
You are! Good for you!
I've moved on from this, from keeping up with them. Like I mentioned, they don't even know what they are. And let them do what they want to do in private. It's just a little weird because the way Matt, you know, kind of broke up with her on after the final rose, it made it seem like he was just never going to talk to her again, or maybe she really needed months and
Totally.
months to go on this journey to truly, educate herself. And it just seems like just a couple weeks later, he's hanging out with her. He's flying her to New York. He's flying her to LA. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they do. Whenever they know what's going on, they can tell me, and then I'll know what's going on. But as of now, like, I don't even care. Like, just let them do them. And I wish that they can, hang out in private, though. I do wish that for them.
Yeah. No, that's a
that's-
great point. What about you, Hiba?
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting point because I was also thinking, like, if you guys are still kind of, talking and figuring it out, like, why go out in public? You're going to be spotted. You're going to have all this attention on you. Paparazzi's going to be swarming you or be obviously, capturing your pictures. But why not, like, do it in a private setting so we actually know it's genuine, not just you guys wanting to get attention and more speculation and more headlines and more conversations like we're having right now. So I guess it worked, So to me, it's just like, just figure it out. Let me know what your guys' final answer is. Let me know, what's going on. I don't want to be, taken through this relationship, whether you guys are talking or not talking. Like, just let me know what the final answer is. Because again, like Claire and Dale's situation, we were pretty invested. And then I kind of like backed out and I was like, okay, there's too much like push and pull again. Like that's always a theme, it seems like, with these Bachelor couples. And also the fact that Matt was trying to be so incognito, like, honey, that beard is I can see you from a mile away. Like, there's no way a glass or like sunglasses or a hat is gonna hide you. Like, you are out in public, first of all, number one, and then you're with Rachael, and then you're both together at the same time in the same place. So to me, it's just about how genuine it is and if they're actually trying to do it for the right reasons, trying to salvage this relationship. So again, I really don't know what else to say. You guys let us know what you think, but I'm just kind of over it, like you mentioned, Zachary, as well. And I just kind of want to, kind of end this, put a bow on it. Like, let me know what you guys decide. And then just send me an email, just CC me, whatever you guys decide. And just let me know.
Literally. No, okay, that's
we'll
actually Hiba. Yeah, here's the thing. I haven't thought of that, and now, like, ooh, you've got my brain spiraling, because I am all about the here for the right reasons. I don't think anyone's reasons for going on the show at this point can be 100% pure. Everyone's working a little angle. To me, it's just how pure is your angle. The sympathy I've had for Matt and Rachael at this point is that they can't figure out anything without all the public scrutiny and all the public interest. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's a global pandemic. There are a lot of ways to not go outside right now, to not go sit at a bar in Santa Monica where TMZ is going to find you. Yes. So I don't know. That is an interesting point you raise. Amidst all of the conversations, you would think that the logical steps for them would be, if we're going to do this, we are hiding out. We are going to Joshua Tree, booking an Airbnb. We are incognito. Like, nobody can find us. So it's going to be listen, no matter how over it or not over it we are, it's going to be talked about. There are going to be more headlines. This is going to continue to unfold. Whether or not they come out this happy together, if that's the goal, we don't know. Whether or not they just need to find some peace, some closure, we don't know. So hopefully, maybe one day, I guess, we'll get some answers. In the meantime, you guys, we just gotta wait. We just gotta wait it out and stay patient. We want to know, of course, like Hiba said, what you think. I mean, do you think there's hope? Is there light at the end of this tunnel? Let us know in the chat, you guys. Let's talk about somebody else from Bachelor Nation that we love, that Matt made some time for while he is in LA. He made sure to hang out with his close friend, Hannah Brown. Bachelor Nation detectives, you guys, are the only reason we know this. They figured it out because they basically both, it's kind of, honestly, we keep coming back to Claire and Dale. It's Claire and Dale's go-to move. They posted the same TV watching the recent fight on their social media, and it appears that Matt was hanging out with Hannah and her boyfriend that night to watch the recent fight. We just touched on, scratched the surface of the roller coaster that has been Matt's life right now. We know that Hannah is obviously a really dear friend of his, and we saw, he talked about it on his season, how much her opinion means to him. It's not surprising to me that they reunited, right? That they spent some time together in LA. But do you think there were maybe some pretty important, let's just say, conversations going on behind the scenes with Hannah about what on earth he's doing? What do you think, Hiba?
Oh, definitely. And I think if they hadn't spoken about anything Bachelor or Bachelorette related, it would be such a missed opportunity because I mean, Hannah Brown's been through it. She's like the best person to confide into when it comes to, what should I do? What does this mean as far as, what moves Matt should make next? Hannah has been in his position, not the same context, but definitely in his position as being the lead. So I think she has a lot of wisdom coming out of her season. Even though she didn't find love, she does have that experience, which is very valuable. So I think they
Yeah.
definitely might have had discussions here and there. I'm curious what Hannah Brown thinks. I don't think she's going to make a public, give her a public opinion because, again, it's not really her place and she doesn't have much to do with it. But I'm very curious to see, what she thinks Matt should do. She seems, I feel like Hannah would probably say that she wants them to be together because she just seems like such a lover, not a fighter in that sense. So I think that she might be wanting it to, of course, work out, but it just really depends on Matt's comfortability and really where him and Rachel stand, especially after that recent sighting. But it would be so interesting to be a fly on the wall, just, kind of hear what they talk about, see what, she discloses from her past experience and what Matt's headspace is kind of at the moment. So that'd be very interesting to kind of like listen in on. So, I mean, who knows, honestly, if they talked about it or not. This is all speculation, you guys. But again, it would be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, they hung out together. They were a part of the OG quarantine crew. So they definitely have a close
Right.
friendship and a close bond. What I am wondering is Hannah, is she still trying to set up Matt with Heather? Was Heather hanging out with them too? We know Heather lives in California. Like, if Hannah doesn't see this relationship working out between Matt and Rachel, is she still rooting for Heather?
Okay, see, this is a really fun point because I thought of that. Did Heather hang out with them? But then I also thought, I mean, you guys, we want to know, this is our question of the day because I do think it's a big one. So get your fingers ready. Send us your responses in the chat. We're going to pin the best response. We know Matt's in California. We know he's with Rachel in California. The only image we saw of this hangout with Hannah Brown was just this TV, right? Have Hannah and Rachel met? Is he not bringing Rachel to hang out with Hannah? Are they meeting and this is the thing that they were able to keep kind of locked down behind closed doors? It's an interesting thought. I really don't know what I expect here. I don't know what to make of it because you're right. There's the Heather element to be considered. There's the Rachel element to be considered. There's the fact that maybe he just wanted to catch up with an old friend. But it's not outside the realm of possibilities, all things considered, that maybe he would have brought one of his good, friends into his situation with Rachel to maybe have her watch them together, see what her thoughts are. What does she make of their chemistry? Does she think it's worth fighting for, if that's what they're even trying to do? I mean, what do you think? Is that a possibility to you, Zachary? Could Rachel have been in that room and we just don't know?
I think she probably was there if she is hanging out with Matt in California. I mean, Rachel's from Georgia. I don't know how many friends she has in California. It seems like Matt has quite a few. He's definitely been spending a lot of time here over the past couple of months. So I think it's very possible that Rachel was, with Hannah and her new boyfriend and Matt. Yeah, I totally think that's a possibility.
All right.
Yeah, it's like you can even replace, Rachel being there with Heather. You just never know because again, these things aren't captured. It's all just speculation. And just because someone didn't post on their story that they're at this place doesn't mean that they still might not be there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it can be so tricky because, first of all, I don't think Hannah Brown has met Rachel. I don't think they would even be at that level yet because Rachel's not even Matt's girlfriend. If Matt and Rachel were still together, that would be a completely different conversation. But I think maybe they might have had mutuals, even if that, but I don't think they have met ever since, especially the season wrapped, because I'm sure Hannah would choose Matt's side no matter what versus wanting to meet Rachel. So I don't think that interaction has happened. I don't think it will unless Matt and Rachel might get back together later down the road, but that's also another conversation. But yeah, as far as Hannah and Rachel meeting, I don't think that has happened.
Okay, I mean, listen, you guys, we just don't know. That's the thing. This is where
Exactly.
I always it's tricky with this couple, or maybe couple, not couple. They have a lot of question marks around them, and I think they're going to for a long time. And honestly, I agree with both of you. I think that that's probably for the best, as much as we may want or not want answers. They just don't know. So making a lot of public statements right now, official statements, just doesn't feel wise at the end of the day. We're going to get source quotes. Some of them are obviously going to be full of real information. Some of them are going to be off base. That's just how this works when there are so many rumors surrounding Bachelor Nation all the time. Truly, you guys, there's so many Bachelor Nation podcasts at this point. Best case scenario, we get a really in-depth, long podcast chit chat with somebody. Because we do want answers, and we're not going to get them and know for sure if they're real just until we hear from them themselves. That's just always how it goes. We have to hear from them themselves, and that's the best way to be sure at the end of the day. You guys, we are so excited to obviously hear from all of you. We want to know what you think. We're going to kick it over to the chat pretty soon. We want to hear from you. So here we go. All right, we're going to go into all of the messages we have from you in the chat. First up, we have, let's see, from Binti, I hope I'm saying that right. She says, hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for tuning in live with us. We are so glad to have you here, talking all things Bachelor Nation. We want to know your thoughts on everything we've been talking about today, so make sure you send them in the chat. We're going to try to get to as many of these comments as we can, you guys. So questions, comments, concerns even, send them our way. We're going to try to get to as many as possible. Oh, we got another one. All right.
All right, this next user, Alex, says, hi guys, can't believe I caught you live. Thank you for the Bachelor tea and news during this off season. Thank you so much for tuning in, Alex, and so glad you were able to catch us live and see everything we dissected during this live today. And definitely send us your thoughts about everything we've covered so far. We definitely want to hear from you. What do you think of Katie's promo? How do you think her season's going to unfold? Who do you think the next host will be if Tayshia and Kaitlyn aren't, continued? So we definitely covered a lot, and we want to hear what you guys think. So definitely keep sending us those questions, comments, and anything. And yeah, thank you so much again for watching.
All
Absolutely.
right.
I love it.
Yes. We got another comment from Ruth. She says, can wait for Katie's season. So I don't know if this was a typo or not, Ruth.
Ooh.
Let us know. She says, can wait for Katie's season. So maybe she wants to wait a little bit longer for the season to come back, which is coming back in about a month, which I actually can understand, Ruth, if that is what you meant, because last season was very exhausting towards the end. It was a lot of tough conversations. It was a lot of oversaturated Bachelor content. It almost became too much. So I personally, as a longtime Bachelor fan, have been enjoying the off season. But I know that when we get closer to June, I will definitely be looking forward to Katie's season to air. But I'm definitely enjoying a little bit of the downtime right now, where we can just kind of talk about Bachelor Nation a little bit more casually and not have it be like a 24/7 thing, like when the season's on.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot riding on Katie's season, right? I mean, they got to get this season right. So, I don't know. Maybe Ruth is just trying to be patient. I could see that working for sure.
We love you, Ruth.
Chris says, now we wait for the next trailer with footage. Oh my God, yes. First thought I had. I mean, this was fun. This was a little tease. They gave us Bachelor, cheesiness, rose petals galore, the gown, love it, hate it, the t-shirt, it was just them being Bachelor Fantasyland creative, right? They always do things like this. But the real moment, when it's really going to feel exciting, when it's really going to feel real, is that first trailer with actual clips where we can see her interacting with some of the guys. Listen, there's going to be tears. There always are. Where we see our first glimpse of tears, that's when it's going to feel like things are really moving and shaking. Yeah. And I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be a few minutes before they give us that. They might be taking their time to really figure out what they're going to put out there, what narratives they're going to introduce. Because like we said, there's a lot riding on this season. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm finally over the white backdrop. Like, give us a location, give us something new, because we already saw that in the first promo. Now, the second was kind of a repeat, just with different wardrobe, but definitely looking for those day one shots of like guys walking out of the limo and like, seeing that first exchange. So that's going to be really exciting to look forward to. All right. This next user, Ben, says it's not that unusual for couples to have an on and off again relationship in the real world. Good luck to Matt and Rachel. Oh, 100%, of course. I mean, there's no formula to having a relationship work. And it's just a little different because they had a whole audience for their relationship. Their whole relationship was also public, displayed on this public platform. And again, it kind of, delve into racism and Rachel not being educated and her having to go on this journey that, like we said, Matt didn't want to go on that journey as well. So it's just different context. And I think it's also a different matter as well, which is, of course, racism. So I think, again, it's just, there's so many different variations of relationships and what works. Of course, it's not black and white. I wish it was black and white. It would be a lot easier, but there are a lot of gray areas. And so we just really have to, take it with a grain of salt, again, when we see these source reports and also what the intentions might be when we see these paparazzi pictures or fan pictures of them together. So, of course, good luck to them both. Again, we always want, these Bachelor Nation couples and contestants and people, whatever you want to call it, we always want them to find love. That is always the goal. But is it with the right people? We don't know. Who are we to judge? Of course, they're the ones in this relationship, of course. But no matter what, we just hope they're happy and they're just at peace with whatever decision they ended up making.
Yeah, 100%. We got another one from Terrence. What were your guys' thoughts on the reality Steve / Demi situation? We had a whole different panel when it was talked about, but I'm curious. Yeah, this was definitely a sticky situation. Reality Steve's I believe it was his old tweets kind of resurfaced again that he has acknowledged and apologized for in the past, but that still doesn't make it okay. And Demi, she had receipts. She had things that she was upset about, about her own personal relationship with Reality Steve. Now, I mean, I'm definitely Team Demi. I think that Demi stands for a lot of the right things. And I think that, she felt, disrespected by Reality Steve, and she wanted to call him out and let him know that it's not okay, that he really takes his job too far at times. Demi mentioned that he outed her before she even had an opportunity to tell her family that she was bisexual, which is just not okay. And I think that there is a huge audience for Reality Steve about his wanting to spoil things and, bring love to Bachelor Nation, but he does go about it too far sometimes and just gets too involved in their personal lives where it just becomes unfair and disrespectful. So I'm glad that Demi spoke up, but I also don't know how much that's actually going to affect Reality Steve's business, because this is how this guy has been making a living for the past decade. Whether it's right or wrong, it's definitely, too much in my opinion, but I don't think it's really going to affect him moving forward. He has become an expert at doing what he does in his fields.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have put it better than that, honestly. This was something that I had a lot of thoughts. I felt, I'm not surprised. He's been crossing lines for a really long time. It really was disappointing. I think it was wonderful that she used her voice, spoke her truth, spoke up. I don't think it's going to make a huge impact on his business either, Zachary. And I don't know what we can take away from that, but I don't think he's going to disappear anytime soon. And I think accountability is something that we've been talking a lot about in all areas of the entertainment industry, and he shouldn't be exempt from that. So accountability is really the goal. Hopefully we can, have something more positive to say about this down the line. I think that if you're going to hold yourself accountable, you better show some growth. So that's another one we're going to be keeping our eyes on. A lot of things to keep track of in Bachelor Nation right now. All right, we have one from Eduardo. He says, I think Katie will be engaged at the end. I trust her instinct. That's a great point. I think her instincts are something that I haven't necessarily really honed in on, but we do trust her instincts, right? She could tell kind of what was right and what was wrong when we were watching a lot of crazy stuff unfold during that season. So her instincts at the end of the day seem to be spot on. They seem to be trustworthy. So hopefully that leads her down a really great path, because we need a really great season. My God, we are dying for something that resets it all, right? In more ways than one. All right, you guys, those were all of the chat questions, comments we had time for today. Have no fear. We will be back. We will be doing more lives this week, and we will, of course, be checking out your comments. So we want to know, we unpacked a lot in this live, you guys. We want to know your thoughts on it all. Let us know down in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell. We're going to be doing our best to keep you updated on all things Bachelor Nation all the time. So you're going to want to subscribe, ring the bell, join the party so you don't miss out on any future lives or any future videos for that matter, because we are keeping you covered all the time. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Hippoberry and Zachary Reality. If you want to come say hi, all of our social handles are on the screen right now. Thanks for tuning in live with us, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
See you later.